Hello, champions! You're tuned into Hell Turn Inside, where WWE passion never stops. Subscribe now, and let's powerbomb through the latest updates. You want to know what's truly frustrating? The absolute silence from so many so-called wrestling insiders. The same people who churn out endless stories about creative disputes and contract drama have gone quiet about something that actually matters. Liv Morgan's fight against breast cancer. While social media buzzes about backstage politics, one of WWE's most beloved performers is facing the toughest battle of her life, and most of the wrestling world is barely paying attention. A broken pattern in wrestling culture. Professional wrestling has always had a complicated relationship with vulnerability. For decades, performers were expected to tough it out, to work hurt, to hide injuries and illnesses for fear of losing their spot. Many who didn't get help in time paid the ultimate price. Liv Morgan's diagnosis has pulled back the curtain on how deep that culture runs. Here is a woman who has given everything to the business: her time, her health, her heart, now dealing with a life-threatening illness. And instead of the universal support she deserves, she's being met with whispers, skepticism, and questions about whether she deserves the attention. That mindset isn't just cruel. It's a reminder of how far wrestling still has to go in valuing human beings over storylines. Gianna's courage behind the character. Liv Morgan's real name is Gianna Jean Dadio, and she didn't choose to become a symbol of strength. She didn't ask to be a headline or an inspiration. Cancer forced that role upon her. Yet through it all, Liv has faced her diagnosis with dignity and determination. She continues to engage with fans, share uplifting messages, and remain part of the WWE family even during treatment. That level of courage, the willingness to keep inspiring others when you're in pain yourself, is something no storyline could ever script. It's real, and it deserves every ounce of recognition the wrestling world can give. The industry's double standard. Let's be honest, when a top-tier star gets injured, every outlet covers it as breaking news. But when someone like Liv, who isn't always in the main event spotlight, faces something far more serious than a torn ligament, the coverage is minimal. That's not journalism. That's selective compassion. Liv Morgan has spent over 8 years grinding in WWE, earning respect through work ethic, heart, and connection with fans. She's carried storylines, put others over, and never complained. If that kind of commitment doesn't make her worthy of support, what does? WWE's response: a step in the right direction. To its credit, WWE has handled this situation with remarkable care and humanity. The company has ensured Liv receives world-class medical treatment, financial support, and continued involvement in creative projects. Triple H and Nick Khan have made it clear that her job and status are secure, no matter how long recovery takes. Friends and colleagues across the roster, from Rhea Ripley to Bianca Belair, have rallied behind her with love and encouragement. This isn't about publicity. It's about empathy. For once, a wrestling promotion is putting its people before its product, and that deserves acknowledgement. The whisper campaign of jealousy. Unfortunately, not everyone has responded with grace. Some within the industry have made bitter comments about Liv's situation, suggesting she's receiving special treatment. Imagine being so jaded that you envy someone battling cancer. Liv didn't choose this fight, and she would trade every bit of attention she's getting for a clean bill of health. Anyone begrudging her support should take a long look at what kind of person they've become. Compassion isn't favoritism. It's the bare minimum of humanity. The hidden cost and corporate responsibility. Even with a strong company behind her, the financial strain of fighting cancer can be enormous. Treatments, travel, time off work, they add up quickly. WWE's decision to cover her medical expenses and maintain her salary shows a kind of leadership this industry rarely displays. That shouldn't make headlines because it's unusual. It should be the standard for every promotion worldwide. Liv's story might end up being the example that changes how wrestling companies treat their talent during real-life crises. Compassion over image money isn't the only factor. The reassurance that her job is waiting, the personal messages from friends, the quiet phone calls from veterans who know what she's going through, those gestures matter more than any corporate press release. This is the WWE fans don't often see, the one that unites behind the curtain when it truly counts. And it proves that wrestling's biggest strength isn't scripted drama. It's the community that forms when the performance ends. A culture learning to change for too long. Wrestling's macho mentality made vulnerability a weakness. Performers were told to hide pain, to work through it, to never show cracks in the armor. That culture killed careers and, tragically, lives. WWE's visible and vocal support for Liv Morgan is helping to dismantle that old mindset. By celebrating her courage instead of hiding it, they're telling every wrestler, male or female, that health and humanity come first. If that lesson sticks, Liv's fight will change more than just her own story. What this means for the future. Other wrestling companies are watching, so are young wrestlers still chasing their dreams. They're seeing that it's okay to ask for help, to take time off, to prioritize survival over performance. That's how progress happens. One person's bravery inspiring others to stand up for themselves. Liv Morgan is leading that quiet revolution without even stepping into a ring. A global wave of support, Liv's social media is filled with messages not only from wrestling fans but from cancer survivors and families who see themselves in her. She's become a voice of hope that extends far beyond WWE. Every post she makes, every photo she shares, reminds people that illness doesn't erase identity. That's an impact no championship could ever match. The road back one day, and that day will come. Liv Morgan will walk through that curtain again. The arena will erupt. The crowd will chant her name, and the tears will be real, not because of a storyline, but because everyone will understand what that moment represents. Survival, resilience, and the unbreakable will of a woman who refused to let cancer define her. That return won't mark the end of her journey. Recovery is ongoing, but it will be a powerful reminder of what true strength looks like. Setting a new standard, WWE's continued commitment to Liv's well-being needs to last far beyond the headlines. This is the model for how every company should treat its performers, with compassion, transparency, and unwavering support. The wrestling media, the fans, and the industry itself must learn from this moment. The real stories worth telling aren't about who's feuding backstage. They're about the people whose courage inspires millions. A lesson in humanity. Liv Morgan's battle isn't a publicity opportunity. It's a reality check for fans, for media, and for wrestlers alike. Real courage isn't measured by title reigns or crowd reactions. It's measured by grace in the face of fear, by choosing to fight when the odds seem impossible. WWE's support for her shows that the business can evolve, that empathy can coexist with entertainment, and for Liv, that empathy has already made her a champion in ways gold can't represent. The final word, Liv Morgan's story, is about far more than wrestling. It's about perseverance, community, and compassion. It's about changing an industry that too often forgets the humanity of its heroes. When the history of modern WWE is written, Liv's fight, and the company's response will stand as proof that wrestling can be more than spectacle. It can be a mirror reflecting the best parts of us. Because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't about who wins in the ring, but about who refuses to give up outside of it.